Hey, what is up guys, Masterleaf here, back to do another video, and today I've got a show match where I team with Driive. I'm going to be playing against Phoenix and Rex. This was pretty out of the blue. Me and Driive didn't have any pre-planned strategies. We had maybe around 15 minutes to strategize the first game, which is going to be on Ice Arena. And I thought, okay, Rex, he's picking Scrin. Nash, he's going for the GDI. So I was thinking, in this patch R19, the dozer blades were buffed on the Scorpion tanks. It's now plus 25%. Let's go for mass Scorpion tanks and get laser capacitors. I was curious to see how it would do. I felt like our approach to playing this 2v2 is going to be best if we 2v1 one of our opponents. And what better factions to pick than the non-factions for those 2 versus 1 situations, because you've got the fast bike buggy spam plus those Scorpion tanks, which pack quite a punch when you pick a vanilla nod and go for the laser capacitor upgrade. So that was my preliminary thinking going into this match. I can't really spoil anything. That was just what I said and thought in the start of the game. And Driive, he knows basically what's up as well. That's why he's also playing vanilla nod. This is, I believe, the first 2 versus 2 FPV that I've posted on my YouTube channel in such a while. I haven't posted content in the past week, but I think this should make up for the lack of content. Now, videos like this take a lot of editing, so I would like to appreciate everyone who has been subscribing to me on my Patreon page. Those people have allowed me to edit this video and do all those scoreboards and stuff like that. It is a high effort sort of video, so I want to thank you all for the continued support. I'm going to go underway with an expansion. Nothing really crazy happening as of now. I'm just scouting to see if there's any rushes coming. Pitbull coming out for Phoenix. I'm not a big 2v2 player, so I'm not sure what to expect. If there's any like 2 versus 1 strategies that can happen at this stage of the game, I wasn't too sure. Maybe an all-in with Orcas is a possibility from them, but I can't really assume that they're just going to eco up. I'm going to go for that second War Factory because I felt like I was getting pushed by Seekers and Pitbulls. That Pitbull that came out of the War Factory did look like a Pitbull that is going to be used to 2 versus 1 me, because I also saw a Seeker come out of Rex's Warp Sphere. Seeker moving to my base, Pitbull's coming to my base, so their plan was to kill Leaf as quick as possible. That was their plan. Unfortunately, I did sniff this out. I'm going for this 2 War Factory. I'm going to be pretty snug in defending this off. Don't want to reveal my army's location, so I'm actually going to the bottom of the map, because he thinks, Phoenix and Rex think that my army is defending in my base, but I'm in fact in the bottom going to attack Rex's expansion. But I think they caught wind of it. I'm not sure. Maybe it was Driive that made Phoenix go down to the south, but I've got these bikes split up in 2 groups. Pretty good multitasking from me. Those guys in the bottom can see that I have units going to the top of the map. They've probably been beaconing my units. But I've also found his harvesters. Rex going to lose a harvester straight away. Could have been a little bit more greedier if I'm honest, but I didn't want to stick around there. A couple Seeker tanks there. 2 Seekers does 1-shot kill a bike. And these bike projectiles, like you've seen in the past couple of my videos, have been helping me distinguish and determine how many bikes I need to shoot down harvesters and stuff like that. There's a little bit more visual feedback. Driive going to assist in this attack. I'm distracting Phoenix while we just blast away that second harvester on Rex's expansion. Rex has been reduced to 0 harvesters on his expansion tier field, but I have yet to establish a refinery. So despite that, in fact I do have a refinery, but I just don't have as much income as them. Phoenix on that double refinery on his field. He's a bit threatening. If he attacks me now, that may be an issue. Good thing about Nod is you can get infantry out and just put them on the Tiberium field. They won't take tick exposure when you get that tip infusion upgrade. Rex refinery pretty low on health. Decided to go ahead and see if I can snipe that refinery, but I thought, yeah, this is going to be really bad. I'm going to feel like Unleashed if I don't get this refinery and lose all my stuff. That's basically what Unleashed was like back in the day. And that engagement there was a big mistake. It did look pretty good at first, but yeah, unfortunately unable to get that refinery. Huge amount of people was coming to my base from Phoenix. I'm going to focus down those pits in the low health. Don't know where they got damaged previously, but the pivots are falling. One harvester may die. I think Phoenix instead should have focused on my Scorpion tanks, but maybe not. Hard to say. The Pipples only killed one harvester, so that's not too bad for me. I did clean up the majority of the Pitbull force. He may have got two actually. Tech of Rex being focused down by Driive. I can't really see everything that's happening. I'm just going to show you all my perspective in this game because it is what I want to show you all. Catalyst missile from Driive. It can only be from Driive because there's no Nod player on the enemy team. And I'm keeping Phoenix distracted while Driive is attacking Rex. Even if I lose these Scorpion tanks, it's okay because as you saw, Phoenix is forced to place down his Sonic emitter to defend my units off rather than him trying to defend Rex because Rex is weakened. I'm hoping at this point that Driive can finish Rex off with that damage that we dealt. Pitbull's attacking my harvesters at the blue Tiberium field, and rather than sending them to my refineries, let's just send them into Driive Scorpion tanks. He's got those laser capacitors. I'm pretty safe to go ahead and take the remainder of that Tiberium. It is a 2 versus 2, so it's not just my units on the field that I can command. I can just put down a beacon, let Driive know, and he will save my harvesters. Both of us will get that laser capacitors online. I'm a little bit later than Driive because Driive has the 2 tip spikes, so he's going to have more units and resources compared to me because he's just had that tip spike advantage. 2 tip spikes, that's a significant amount of resources. In fact, no, we actually shared Tiberium spikes. I got that wrong, never mind. But that's one thing you can do on this map. Dozer Blaze is completed for me. I'm going to go ahead and take out these Pitbulls. Connection lost message. That sometimes appears in the worst possible time. Not a bad time for it to show in this game. Predator tanks for Phoenix, interesting. Maybe going for railguns. That's not going to deter me from going for Scorpion tanks. I did beacon something down there. A couple of Orcas, which is going to be a problem for Driive. I need that laser capacitor upgrade to finish because it's going to do very minimal damage, those Orcas, without the laser capacitor upgrade. Focusing down those Orcas. Do finally get the laser capacitors online. Driive mucking around in that Tiberium field. Marv heading my way. I need to get the EMP coils for my Raider buggies to shut that Marv down. That's my only form of EMP. And Driive. I can barely make out what he's saying, but I think he's saying go back. Orca's probably going to put down some sensor pods on my tip field. A direct hit on my harvester. Very unfortunate. This was a bit of a sticky situation. Driive there with a couple of Vertigo bombers will lay waste to some of those tanks. Nod mine drop way better than the Mach 1. I'm hoping to get some real damage dealt with this mine field. I don't think it did anything. Yeah, he may have lost 1 unit, but not too much more than that. Raider buggies out here with that EMP coils, ready to EMP the enemy Marv. If I can EMP the Marv, I can focus on the other forces. Worst thing you can do is attack the enemy Epic unit when you've EMP'd it. Just keep EMPing the enemy Epic and attack the other stuff that's around it. So I'm moving in here with my EMP buggies, and I did just whiff the first shot. I'm taking out Rex's tripods. Rex and Phoenix trying to double team me here, but if I can shut down this Marv, then I can finish off the Juggernauts. Driive here to assist. He's got those vertigos out as well. We can see the shadows approaching. He's going to target down the Marv with those vertigos. A bit of a mistake in my opinion, but not a big deal. I'm going to go ahead and take out the remainder of these jugs and get some nice rear armor damage on this Marv. Marv going to be continuously EMP'd and taken out. So that Marv is pretty toast. I've got that mine drop as well still there, unless that was a fresh mine drop from Driive. I'm going to go ahead and counter attack because Phoenix, he's going to have to rebuild his Marv. It's going to be 50 seconds before he gets another one out. I thought I would push my advantage here. Juggernauts can't really target moving units very well. I can also EMP these jugs. I'm getting in between the Juggernauts. And I'm just going to shut those down. There's actually a Raider Bucky standing right next to those 3 Juggernauts. I can EMP 3 of those, but I don't think I was paying attention. I assumed that they were EMP'd from that EMP I did earlier. Rex, he's not too present at the moment. I think his income has been completely ravaged by Driive. Me and him did some nice teamwork and took out a lot of Rex's harvesters. So Phoenix, he's going to have to defend against these Scorpion tanks. Also, this is not giving Phoenix any time. You know, we don't want to give these guys time to know for sure what they're doing. We want to disrupt their push because before they tried to push with an MCV. And I don't want that to happen again because I don't have a tech of my own. I don't have Obelisk of Light. I don't have my Redeemer. But I do have all my tech upgrades. So I don't really need my tier 3 anymore. I've got EMP, I've got laser buggies and laser scorps. Those 3 things can shut down basically anything in the game. Not a healthy income for me, but I've got a decent sized army, 17 Scorpion tanks and a handful of Raider buggies. I'm going to see if I can take out Rex once and for all so Driive can really stabilize and get his income down, because he does have more income compared to me because of that double expansion tip field. He's got 2 fields to harvest from, whereas I only have the 1 field. Marv out now for Phoenix again. Second field now being harvested for Driive. I need to get these Scorpion tanks back for repair. A lot of them are badly damaged, and some of them are even veteran. I want to get those to the War Factory for some sweet repairs, because if I can rank those up, that would be great, especially in a game where resources are going to be getting pretty scarce. Driive hunting tripods with those vertigos. Nice work from him. He can even target the enemy orcas with those vertigos, but the AA damage of vertigos, not particularly great. So I've got a pretty big army. Splitting my forces up so I can defend Driive as well, because it doesn't seem like he has very much. He's got avatars. Somehow he decided to move them to my base because of the Marv. I can't really be threatened by a Marv though, because I got so many EMP buggies. I can just lay waste to this Marv with 27 laser scorps and a bunch of Raider buggies. Are you kidding me? That's gonna completely decimate Marvs. And Raider buggies are also gonna kill those orcas. APC pit versus laser scorps? Yeah, I don't know about that, buddy. That's going to be absolutely shredded. I need to push in and take care of these jugs because they can do some sick splash damage. Driive targeting down the enemy Marv. That's going to be taken out. That's a lot of damage that Driive just inflicted on that. Vertigo bombers actually doing a significant amount of damage in this game. And it's going to allow my Scorps to just about take out the enemy Marv. Oh, I just about take that out. 3 enemy tripods left. Rex, he's got 3 tripods approaching my force. I don't have anything left in my base. All these Scorpion tanks are being pushed back. I'm very frantically... I'm worried about this because I can't really take on these tripods. It's pointless of me trying to take on this army. I've got 13 tanks. Some of them are ranked. I would rather just retreat my forces and use them to attack something I can destroy rather than engage this army of tripods. That would be very silly of me. I'm pulling back my harvesters. Most I'll lose a harvester, but not any more than that. Avatars of Driive moving in to respond to this. I'm going to see if I can flank that force of tripods, attack something else. Stealth tank in the back there for Driive. Going to take out harvesters. Vertigo bombers, I'm hoping that those can be rearmed and attacking those tripods once again. In R19 is a 10-second reload time on these vertigos. And like I said, rather than attack the 4 tripods, I'll just go ahead and find something I can destroy. I just knocked out a tripod there. Lost 1 tank in the process. Very, very cost-effective trade. And that's really the advantage of Nod. You know, the speed of the Scorpion tanks. You get to decide what engagement to take because you have the mobility. These 3 tripods are an absolute pain in the ass. Me and Driive are a bit indecisive who's going to deal with the tripods, but I was forced to attack it because I'm going to lose my base otherwise. I've got 2 war factories there and a ref. I really don't want to lose this refinery. And I'm going to take out these tripods. There you go, 1 tripod down. And a heroic Scorpion tank for myself. That's something that you rarely see. That's an extremely rare thing indeed with that laser capacitor upgrade. This is the best Scorpion tank you can get in Kane's Wrath. Pretty awesome. Orca Strike once again, going to attack my ref. It's expensive to repair such a high health structure, such as a refinery with a repair tool, but I've got no option, no barracks to put down to make an engineer. 2 war factories. I can't really support 2 war factory builds, but I don't want to sell one of them and lose my production somehow. I've got a heroic Scorpion tank, which is going to be really great. These Seekers here in distance are no match for the power of a bunch of Scorpion tanks, even one being heroic. That 1 Scorp can probably solo a couple of those Seekers. So I'm going to go ahead and attack this force because Driive only has slow-moving avatars. He doesn't have any Scorpion tanks of his own, so it's my duty here to attack these Seekers and defend Driive's base. And these will die. There's a commander there of Driive. Good for killing the descents, but I've got Raider buggies here as well. A couple those are great for killing the GDI aircraft. Orcas are a concern. That's why I'm building a lot of Raider buggies. If I can keep the heroic Scorpion tank alive, then I'm pretty confident we can take it from here. Commando C4ing that photon cannon. Harvest is being annihilated here. All of Rex's income is being just destroyed. This tripod is going to go down as well, but phase was used. That's probably good. Means that Driive can target something of Rex now and not fear it being phased. The Marv of Phoenix cannot be phased because Rex decided to use it on that Marv, on that tripod. I've got 3 of these harvesters. Probably could queue 1 or 2 more, get an MCV back out, but seeing this huge army of Driive, we can probably seal the deal here. I'm going to move in my Scorpion tanks. That heroic tank is just going to do some sick damage to this Marv. And I've even got a second heroic tank there, I believe. So I've got 2 heroic Scorpion tanks in the same game and a heroic buggy. A bunch of heroic laser units there. Look at them go. 2 heroic tanks and a Raider buggy that's heroic. The Raider buggy is less impressive, but the 2 heroic tanks are for sure a nice thing indeed. So that's going to be game number 1. Me and Driive going to take the first game in this best of 7 series. I hope you all enjoyed that one. We're going to go on to the next game, so don't leave. I've got more games to come. Alright guys, we are back and it's going to be game number 2. Losers picks. So they're going to go on Forgotten Forest, Phoenix, and Rex are down 0-1 in this series. And I've decided to switch my faction to Black Hand. Driive going to retain the nod. Now my thought process in this game was, this is a GDI map. Tournament Rift has always been a GDI map. This is a variant of it. It's a 2 versus 2 version of Tournament Rift. And it usually involves a lot of base pushing with MCVs and Juggernauts. It's very difficult to remove a GDI player, especially as Nod. So I thought, rather than, replicate their strategy, let's prevent the MCVs and the tier 3 from coming online to begin with. So my thought process was to go for a bunch of blue flame tanks like I do in 1v1 and take out the MCVs in the middle of the map, stop the sonic emitter spam and the watchtower spam, and then the bike buggy and our laser capacitor Scorpion tanks can just lay waste. Wow, I'm really mixing the words up. Lay waste to the enemy Juggernauts, because those are the units that are going to be built by GDI. Rex going to play the screen, so there's going to be no fear of cultists. And I unfortunately made a mistake there. I queued a raider buggy, even though me and Driive agreed that Driive's going to build a raider buggy first. Raider buggy will clean up those buzzers. I did agree to let Driive take both of the Tiberium spikes. Usually it is the top spawning player that gets both of the tip spikes. And on this map we want to expand to the bottom and place your NCV between both Tiberium fields, just so your opponent, your ally, can place his refinery on one of the fields and you can place yours on the other field. It's important when you're against Nod to consider ref placement. The fact that they haven't got a Nod is very helpful for us because we don't have to be so concerned about ref placement. But since we are both Nod factions, Rex and Phoenix, both being Scrin and Jedi respectively, would have to be very thoughtful about their refinery placements, because we have 2 Catalyst missiles and it's really easy to place 2 refs close together on this map. But I've seen players devise strategies where they can place refineries on the other side of the Tiberium field just to avoid that Catalyst missile from getting 2. So just a lot of scouting coming out from us. I was aware that Phoenix and Rex would be expecting some crazy shenanigans out of me on maybe one field. But it is in fact Driive who's going to go for the one field, one base shenanigans. I'm going to be one ecoing up in this game. It's sort of like a mind game because no one really expects me to be the macro player. In this game, I decided to just macro up and go for 3 refineries and a bunch of bikes from my war factory, infantry as well, just to fend off against these forces. But I also need a secret shrine anyways to get that blue flame upgrade. So I'm going to start researching the Black Disciples and then the Purifying Flame. I'm going to make my opponent build a bunch of Gunwalkers, a bunch of Hammerheads, while Driive goes for tons of Bike Buggy, which will make that incredibly hard for the Hammerheads to counter the infantry. And then the Flame Tanks move in, and the Scrim player has a lot of Gunwalkers and not enough to kill the Flame Tanks. That's sort of the strategy that we are going with here. Moving in with these infantry. They are yet to get the Black Disciples, so they're a little bit exposed to the Buzzer Swarm support power, but I feel like we can just about get it online before getting Buzzer Swarmed. Rex was paying attention. I was looking at his field point of view, and he was actually paying attention to Driive because Driive was attacking his field with a bunch of bikes. That's how Rex didn't look at his harvester, because Driive was in Rex's base attacking the harvesters. Remember, there is a lot going on. If me and Driive are both aggressive, then there's so much to look out for, isn't there? And I feel like what will puncture a hole in their defenses would be blue flame tanks, and I don't think this has ever been done on this map. So I'm going to go for a bunch of blue flame tanks, go for a second war factory as well. And I found a big gap there. I'm going to move in with my bikes. I was queuing bikes for quite a while now. I've accumulated enough of them to attack the harvesters. There's also a bunch of bikes there from Driive. Me and him are going to attack the Preds, just completely shred the remainder of the defenses, and then attack the harvesters. I think maybe I could have killed a harvester, but yeah, the micro with the harvesters is very good from Phoenix, so probably wouldn't have been able to get one there. We killed a couple Pred tanks. That's about the most we could have asked for. The Pred tank numbers have been reduced. That's going to be really good for me, because that'll mean my flame tanks can get down to that tier 3, and maybe, just maybe, we can kill that tier 3 with the flame tank. I've already force-fired the ground where that Scrin technology assembler is, and that's something you can do in this game. You can force fire the ground with flame-based weaponry, and they will attack the ground and deal damage to that structure. You don't have to see the enemy structure to attack it. You can just give the force attack command in the Fog of War. infantry as well coming out for me, just, you know, to cause problems, because they're going to be making a bunch of seekers and tripods, and that's not what, I mean, you really don't want to be building that against the infantry. And that's why the infantry is a perfect supplement to the flame tanks. And also these infantry with Black Disciples get the Purifying Flame upgrade as well. So as you can see in this middle Tiberium field, the Black Disciples with that Purifying Flame are actually going to deal enough damage to destroy the Reclamator hub. That Rec hub fell almost as quickly as Phoenix's tier 3. And now their base is in complete tatters. The Marv was cancelled. If that Marv had came out, then yeah, this strategy I'm doing here would have just completely fell apart, because he would have just Marvisted that Tiberium field, got a bunch of hammerheads out and defended quite nicely. But the fact that the Marv was cancelled and the MCV destroyed by those flame tanks, then yeah, how's he going to deal with the infantry? There's no hammerheads, there's no watchtower spam, and now this infantry has won the middle Tiberium field. We've won this field. Mastermind grabs one of the flame tanks, but there are 3 more going to the drone ship. And when you're destroying drone ships with flame tanks, make sure you focus fire the ground, just so when the scrim player unpacks their drone ship, it still force fires the ground and deals damage to that drone ship. So you're not gonna, he's not gonna be able to get away with it. No expansion in the middle Tiberium field, so I thought, hey, let's just put that refinery there, why not? We're in a very commanding position. This flame tank is just going ham. All of the tech has been reset from both players. These flame tanks are insane. Another heroic flame tank. And I'm going to go ahead and show you all just how much damage these heroic flame tanks at Blue Flame do. Just look at this MCV4, look at this health bar. The health bar, it just fell in. Oh my god, guys, that just fell instantly. It just completely evaporated that building. And I'm not even needing Driive to help. I'm basically 2v1ing these guys. Oh man. This Blue Flame is just insane. It's a strategy that I don't think these guys were prepared for. It's some stuff like this that can really win these 2v2 games. And that's going to be 2-0 for both me and Driive. A perfectly executed strategy on Forgotten Forest. Really out of the norm when it comes to strategies. So I want to say that was a pretty good game. I am glad about that one. And we're going to go on to the third game now, and we're going to see what will happen, see if Phoenix and Rex can bring one back, or if it's going to go to 3-0, which would be a pretty big upset, because I haven't been expected to perform in this. So let's go on to the third game. Alright guys, and welcome back to game number 3 of this best of 7 show match with me and Driive. This is the first time both me and him have played together, going pretty well against Phoenix and Rex, both proven 2v2 players. I have another 2v2 series with these guys to come, which I casted. Have to edit that one though. But I want to bring you all this series first because I thought it was pretty awesome. This is going to be on that pipeline map that Panda made. It is basically Pipeline Problems, the 1v1 map, but mirrored. It's the 1v1 map, but mirrored. It works really well in 2v2s. Seen some really good games on it, and it also teaches players how to play properly on pipelines, the 1v1 map, because there's all sorts of openings you can do with that blue Tiberium field. It is very unique in that sense. And I am going to go ahead and just go for double ref because I agreed to Driive. The Driive should take both the Tiberium spikes. There's 2 in the bottom. He's going to take 1. He's going to take 2 of them. I'm going to take none. That's going to allow me to just eco and spend resources on harvests, which I want to do in this game. I'm going to keep this crane. I feel like it's probably a good idea. When I get that blue tip coming in, I'm going to need more than 1 build queue because I don't want to be floating resources at this stage of the game if I can help it. There is no need for me to sell the crane right now. So I'm now building stuff from 3 build queues, power plant, refinery, and a bunch of harvesters from my war factory. And I was saying to Driive prior to this match that he should have a shredder turret ready to drop in case he gets rushed by Rex, because Rex has switched to Traveler 59 in this game. as long as he can defend against Descent rushes, I am confident that we will be fine. Phoenix is still the Driive player. I'm not really sure if Driive can do a rush that would win the game at this stage. I do have stealth harvesters, so if he does go orcas, he'd have to put down sensor pods with his orcas if he would want to reveal my harvesters, because I can just pull them out of the refineries and send them to random places, and it's hard to see where those halves are. But it is always a possibility, orcas and bloodhounds. But with the defense of 2 players, it can be an issue. It can get messy. If Rex went for a Descent rush while Phoenix went for an all-in with orcas and bloodhounds, I do wonder how that would go. It may be a little bit weird. Maybe it would work actually if you put the portal in the GDI player's base for the Descent rush, so you're going Descent while he goes for the Orca Bloodhound all-in rush. That may be pretty lethal. I don't get any scouts from selling cranes. That's unfortunate. I would have liked to get something scout there. Did I actually get something from selling that crane? I don't know if you're supposed to. If it's the same for cranes and the screen crane, is it called a foundry, I believe? Yeah. Some of them don't give scouts. Pitbull for Phoenix. I don't want him to scout. Then I'm building a triple war factory. My idea here was to just kill Rex. So let's just get Rex out of this game. Driive can attack with his bike buggy, and I'll assist him with triple war factory bike buggy. Both of my opponents have not scouted this, so this is a great opportunity for me to go in at the same time as Driive and inflict some huge damage onto Rex. So I'm using the ability of Nod. Look how quick I'm traversing this map. I'm already at Rex's base, and to transition out of this, rather than go for a tier 3, I'm just going to build a secret shrine and get some tip troopers out, and then some enlightened out, get that cybernetic legs upgrade. Rex is forced to help Phoenix. Phoenix just doesn't have enough to defend against this army. Temporal Wormhole was used to defend, and also those Seekers are being forced to defend Phoenix. Phoenix just has a handful of Pitbulls there. I have Raider buggies and bikes for days coming into this base. Phoenix would have been dead if Rex didn't respond to this army. But because of this commitment from Rex to defend his ally Phoenix, Driive's been given time to do some sick damage to Rex, which is exactly what has happened. I've used the decoy army to make my force a little bit bigger. I saw the flame tank in Rex's base, that flame tank just completely bypassing the tripod. That's going to do some sick damage. And to transition out of this, it's going to be beam cannons and a bunch of enlightened. I'm going to EMP my opponent's forces while the beam cannons take care of the juggernauts, because I was expecting a jug 2 MCV push from Phoenix, and that's really what I was expecting at this point. So I've predicted it would come. I'm going to now build those beam cannons and set up my second expansion. Lots of resources on this map, and I didn't even take the Tiberium spikes, so Driive should have more than me in theory. It all depends on how good his opening build order was. Sniper teams I just saw there because there's 3 V35 Oxes that just landed, and that's how you know it's a sniper team drop. And I actually need a way of killing those. I can go for Venoms, but my ally Driive is also a Nob player. So I thought, hey, let's just alert him of them, and maybe he'll be able to deal with the sniper teams. More beam cannons coming out. I saw the Venom of Driive, and I was like, hey Driive, if you just send that Venom over to kill the sniper teams, then I can just move in with my army. So Driive, he was paying attention, and he's like, yeah, okay, I'll send my Venom over there. And look at this teamwork. So the Venoms sweep in from Driive, to kill those sniper teams, and then I'm moving in with my Tib and my Enlightened to EMP the Predator tanks. Perfect, absolutely perfect teamwork coming out from me and Driive, and this Pred tank army is just going to be absolutely wasted. Absolutely wasted. Look at it fall. Nothing was lost for me in the process, and now these beam cannons can just start focusing down on the defenses that Phoenix has. Those sonic emitters are going to be useless in this situation. Beam cannons moving into the base. I see a refinery. Just going to quickly snipe that before I get shelled by jugs. There's a couple of juggernauts out. Another thing I like about beam cannons is they are very good at dodging shockwave artillery. Unlike Spectres, beam cannons can avoid it if they just reverse out of it. I've sent one of my Enlightened to the left, one of my Enlightened to the right, just so I can flank the enemy forces. It gives me more options to surround and destroy those juggernauts, because I'm looking to EMP them and destroy them with my beam cannons, which I can definitely do. That's why Phoenix decides to pull back. This is just giving Driive time to finish off Rex. Rex take some serious damage from that triple war factory play that I did, and Rex was forced to commit a large sum of his forces to fend off that triple war factory for Phoenix. Phoenix did stabilize, but he is in some trouble. He's committing forces to defend his ally, but I can just move in there with my army. I've got 14 Enlightened squads and 7 beam cannons. How often have you guys saw that many Enlightened in a game? Enlightened have a HP buff in R19. A lot of people have forgot about that, but they are better than they were before. A little bit more bullet spongy. Their utility is great in these 2v2 games, especially versus Traveler, where you can EMP the Hexapod with ease. You've got EMP for days, and it's usually stealthed as well with those disruption towers. Phoenix coming in here with this army. I'm going to wait until Driive's here with his army. He's got EMP buggies with that upgrade. Moving in, he's going to EMP those jugs. I was like, okay, that's fine. Looks like more sniper teams were summoned in, but that's not a big concern. I've got those Enlightened still alive. Almost all of the Enlightened survive, so I'm going to be able to take out the remainder of those juggernauts. They're not going to be able to fire with the amount of EMP that's on this map here. And we're going to target the commando with the beam cannons. Beam cannons deal grenade damage. You can kill commandos very well with beam cannons. Look at that. Commando to focus down instantly. Otherwise it would have just been a pain in the ass to destroy. Commandos lethal versus Enlightened, so I had to deal with that very promptly. Shockwave comes down for Phoenix, but that's just going to stall the inevitable. My army is massive. Marked of Kane style, really proving to be exceptional in this game. EMP galore. All of those harvesters were EMP'd. Bunker cleared out by the tip trooper. That's going to be game over. So that's game number 3 going to me and Driive. We're taking a surprising 3-0 lead in this best of 7. Can we do it in game number 4? Can we make it a clean sweep now? It's not like the opponents are playing bad. Phoenix and Rex are playing fine in my opinion, but me and Driive just seem to have a strategy that's working for us. Our playstyles tend to meld well together. So let's go on to the 4th game and see what happens there. Alright guys, we are back and it's going to be game number 4 of this best of 7 series. Me and Driive taking a commanding 3-0 lead in this best of 7 show match. Going to be sticking with the Nod factions. I'm going to be playing as the Master Kane. Driive will be playing as a vanilla Nod. We're going to be sticking with the Nods. Double Nod. Who would have thought? That is interesting. It just goes to show as well that R19 has a lot of potential like mix factions. You can go for 2 Nod factions of different types. Marked of Kane and Nod, they can work well together, especially if one player quits. Because if one player quits and he has tip infusion, then your rockets as Marked of Kane and Black Hand get that tip infusion. Though I guess Marked of Kane rockets get that by default, but I think they get Confesses as well if you quit. It's really cool. So Rex, he's also sticking with the Traveler 59. Phoenix, the GDI. Maybe GDI, not the way to go. I think Nod is a necessity if you're playing as... if you're teaming with Traveler or Scrun faction. Because you can stealth the Hexapod. And a stealth-phased Hexapod would be very annoying to deal with. That's something that you're missing by playing GDI. GDI don't have much synergy besides APC Descents. You can go for Hammerhead Disintegrators, which is very good. I would try that myself if I was playing with a Scrin player and a GDI faction. But just a scouting phase as of now, just seeing if Rex is going for that Descent Rush. That's really the only question that needs to be answered at this stage of the game. Rex heading out for an expansion. And I've let Driive take both of the Tiberium spikes. Something that you don't see too often on this map, but yeah, we did agree that Driive gets both the tip spikes. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick sip of water. So wash on, guys, while I, hydrate.
Ready to go. Quick, going. It is time for a harvest.
Construction complete. Building.
I got something for him. Hurry! Raider here. Over there. Hurry!
Not much has really happened though during this time. Scouting is still persisting. I haven't got much experience playing on hurricane lands. A little bit of lag, which I was frustrated at in this last... yeah, so we're going to go for just refineries. Scorpion tanks out for me as well, because I was maybe thinking of doing an attack with Driive with 2 war factories. Because it worked for us really well in that first game with the Scorpion tanks. Raider Buggy coming in here just to see if there is greed from Rex or if he's going for Portal for Descents. No defense there from Rex, so this Harvest is screwed. Photon Cannon comes down, but that's not enough. The Harvest is going to fall. Nice work there from Driive. It's worth sacking those spikes for that Harvester if it's about to dock in the rep, because remember, Rex had to invest in the Harvester, plus it was mining that Tiberium, so he's going to lose the Tiberium and the Harvester, which is very damaging. Me and Driive going with Scorpion tanks, we have comparable numbers. I was like, hey, let's just kill these Pred tanks here, and Drive's like, okay, let's gang up on Phoenix, take out these GDI forces here. These GDI non-believers. Those will be destroyed. But it wasn't enough to really do any damage. DC screens appearing. I was a bit frustrated at it, but the game continues. I'm Marked of Kane, so I can do what I did in the previous game and go for a bunch of Enlightened and use those to support my Scorpion tanks, EMP the Harvesters. But it's difficult to make the right decisions when there are stutters like this. I also don't want my opponent to see what I'm going to transition to next. Could have maybe gone for a secret shrine before my op center, just to conceal the transitions that I make. It would have forced Phoenix to use his radar scan, which is a long cooldown support power. Scorpion tanks moving in. Those are about to get upgraded with the Dozer Blades, or I don't think I got it this game. I thought, hey, these Scorps are probably going to die. Maybe not worth getting the upgrade. It is Might of Kane after all. Might of Kane have just Dozer Scorps. There's no laser capacitors for them. Instead, I'm investing into a tech lab. I'm going to get the supercharged particle beam upgrade online, which is necessary for dealing with those disintegrators of Rex. I was contemplating using the cloaking field on those disintegrators, but I thought, hey, that's not worth it. $3,000. What am I going to kill there? At most 7 disintegrator squads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 descents. Maybe it would have prevented the harvester death of Driive, but I would have been out of funds. It was a difficult call to make. Was it right to not use the cloak field there? Chemical plant of me will be done, so I can use that and click one of those refineries, hoping to maybe get a TIF vein on those seekers. So I'm not revealing my hand just yet. I want to maybe force a situation where the scrim player goes on the tip field. Beam cannons from one war factory, avatars from the other, because I'm going to upgrade my avatars with beam cannons. The bonus damage you get from equipping beam cannons to avatars is actually 120%, so it's more than 2 times the damage with that beam cannon attachment. It was significantly buffed in Kane's Wrath compared to Tiberium Wars. No supercharged particle beams just yet for me, but I do clean up the cultist squad. I do get it online now, so I've got the supercharged particle beams. That Prodigy is going to be no threat for Driive. Seekers will be destroyed. Pred tanks moving in, but I've got avatars in my base. I've got 3 avatars, so those Preds are not going to achieve anything at all. But Phoenix wasn't going for me. He was going for Driive. A couple of orcas for Phoenix attacking my harvesters. He doesn't kill any, but nonetheless, that's just making it a bit frantic. Driive retreating from that fight. He could have got some Venoms out himself, or maybe some Shadow Teams. Maybe it's worth getting a couple Shadow Teams, man, when you're playing against Traveler, just to kill the Prodigy. Might be a good way to complement your army of Scorps. So I'll just go for Raider Buggies. Get the EMP coils, laser capacitors, and use those to kill the cultists and the Prodigy. The Buggy anti-infantry damage was buffed in R19 with laser capacitors, so that's probably the best thing to build at the moment for Driive. He probably hasn't read the patch notes though. 5 Venoms of mine. I just want to patrol the air near to my expansion, because I know there's going to be orcas coming soon. And I just dodged this supersonic airstrike. Holy crap, that was in epic luck from me. That's the thing you want to be doing with units such as Venoms. You want to keep them moving, or they will die in an instant. I saw the Prodigy near that refinery, so I thought, let's try and take out the Prodigy near the ref. Or in fact, that was not my catalyst, it was Driive's. Later on I used mine, but not just yet. AA turrets being deployed there for Phoenix. I'm going to start stealthing up this base, because I feel like things are going to get hot pretty quickly here. And it's a pretty good situation to be in as Might of Kane when you're in defense because of the EMP that you have. I've got a couple of beam cannons, but these Venoms are actually stealthed under my disruption tower, so I can use the reflector beam on my beam cannons to target down this Juggernaut. 1 Jug falls to that ability. So while it wasn't game ending, I did kill 1 Juggernaut, which I wouldn't have been able to otherwise. I only lost a handful of Venoms in the process, but the thing is, the husks are left behind when you kill them. So let's see if I can sneak around and take out that husk. I'm going to use this Venom to scout ahead. was looking to use the reflector beam on it, but wasn't able to, unfortunately. And another thing that was changed in R19 was the vertigo disruption pod. The duration that it lasts has been increased from 2 minutes to 4 minutes. So it makes a lot of sense building a vertigo and getting the disruption pod ability. Cultist squad just nabs my harvester, but that's Rex's cultist, so he's not going to be microing that. He's busy dealing with this army of scorpion tanks, which is shredding through his tripods. All the tripods falls. My beam cannons are there to take on this hexbot. I can also use the beam cannons to kill the prodigy. So pretty good teamwork from me and Driive. I'm keeping an eye on what's going on in his part of the map while trying to deal with Phoenix at the same time. Beam cannons there, scorpion tanks. Only later in the VOD did I see that Driive had a couple of raider buggies near that hexapod. I was hoping he would impede the hex, but he didn't. Those raider buggies were just chilling next to that hex. It would have been sick if he had done that. Redeemer could have raised the hexapod, and it would have been unable to be phased because Driive does have his Redeemer out. I lost a handful of my beam cannons there, so that was a pretty good trade for Rex, all things considered, despite losing those tripods early on. And here we see I used the Catalyst Missile Prodigy standing right next to that refinery, but just like how I dodged the Supersonic Airstrike, Rex will dodge the Catalyst Missile with that Prodigy. Hexbot going to get some healing up there. And now the center of attention will be the top left corner, because look where the Tiberium is. It is in this top left corner of the map, and Phoenix knows it as well. The team in the right, the team in the east know it, so they're going to go and focus on me. Orcas deploying sensor pods all over the place. Vertigo bomber there with that disruption pod about to be upgraded. An upgrade that everyone forgets that exists. This Vertigo disruption pod has been upgraded. Vertigo, gonna use that pod. That's gonna cost me $300, and then I'm gonna get the benefits of a $3,000 cloaking field. Plus, I get a Vertigo as well, which I can use to bomb something later on, maybe a bunch of husks. So I'm gonna get some additional value out of that Vertigo. 5 dual beam avatars there, which I did equip each of them with the beam cannons. I didn't use the exploit. I just equipped each and every one of them with the beam cannon. It is a worthwhile thing to do. Hexapod EMP'd over there. Driive was beaconing me. He was saying that he was going to lose. So I'm rallying some forces down there to help him because he didn't get EMP buggies. He should have been building them, especially against a hexapod. You don't want to be entering a fight without EMP buggies, so that's something that Driive should be doing. A sensor pod gets deployed. I whiff the EMP. Shockwave artillery coming down for Phoenix, and my Redeemer is just going to escape that shockwave, which is great for me. A commander of all things was trained by me. I was like, hey, there's a bunch of infantry there, juggernauts, maybe this commando can do something. It's going to be a tough ask, but it's worth a shot. So let's see if this Nod commando can do some damage. 4 dual beam avatars as well is still a thing for me. I don't want him to know that I have those dual beam avatars. I purposely left them out of the fight until now. So here I come in. I'm going to use these Enlightened to EMP the Juggernauts, EMP the Marv. And this commando is just about to get crushed by the Hexapod, but I did a bit of micro there, avoided the crush of that Hex. MCV falls, tripods there in the back, killing that commando, but the commando has tons of cannon damage armor, and the Jugs there are also going to fall with the commando. That commando is just laying waste to all of those Juggernauts. It is now an elite commando. That rarely happens with Mark of Kane or Vanilla Nod. She also is stealthed while standing still. That's the only difference with the Nod one and the Black Hand one. So this is basically a 2 versus 1. Driive needs to support me soon. I've got my dual beam avatars focusing on the Marv. Should be killing the tripods because when those are un-EMP'd, they're going to be huge problems for me. Redeemer gets caught in that temporal wormhole. Prodigy there was teleported in. Hammerhead there as well from Phoenix, just killing all of my Enlightened, preventing any further EMPs. Driive arrives to the scene with his Redeemer. Prodigy teleports in, uses the teleport units on one of Rex's tripods to EMP my Redeemer, but there's just not enough firepower there to kill my Redeemer. My Redeemer still has that disruption pod on it, so it's stealth technically. And a further EMP gets cast on that hexapod, just going to delay it a little bit longer. And I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of husks. I need to somehow destroy those husks. You know what happened there, I think my disruption pod on the Redeemer actually stealthed that Vertigo, that Armageddon bomber, as it completely wasted those Firehawks, those Hammerheads, and those husks. An insane Vapor Bomb from me. Some Tiberium down there from Driive. He's done a good job regrowing his Tiv field, so I don't mind if I do. I'm going to go ahead and take some of Driive's Tiberium because I need it. I feel like I can mount a better defense with Mark of Kane than Driive can with Nod, because I have those Enlightened squads, which is what I really need in this position. Engineers moving in to reclaim those tripod husks. My Redeemer's gonna get some healing up near this war factory. Need to get an engineer in it so it can heal itself. Shockwave artillery. It's an insane and frantic fight this. The Scorpion tanks from Driive. The cavalry has arrived. The hexapod is also going to get EMP'd. I thought for a second that it's over. Driive has nothing left in the tank, but here he shows up with a bunch of Scorpion tanks, and maybe, just maybe, we can kill this Eradicator hexapod here before Rex gets the chance to teleport it back with his Prodigy. The hexapod falls, and that gave me a little bit of confidence. Me and Driive both have our Redeemers. The team on the east have no epic unit. These Jogs are completely stranded. They're being destroyed. Just 1 or 2 Devastators to take care of, but Driive is here with a couple of Raider buggies. He's going to deal with those aircraft. There are 4 tripods attacking Driive. Driive could lose his base, but I'm Marked of Kane, and you know what that means? It means a ton of EMP. So I'm going to move in with these Tib Troopers, with these Enlightened, and deal with the tripods. The reason I moved in Tib Troopers as well to the tripods is because of the Buzzer Swarm. The Tib Troopers can deal with that swarm, otherwise my Enlightened would all die and perish to the buzzers. That Flame Redeemer is helpful. That's one thing that you lack as Marked of Kane, a base killing epic unit. Whereas with Nod and Black Hand, you can put that Black Hand squad in it and just burn down the enemy base like it is a flame tank. That's going to be really good for us. I'm going to save Driive's base. Driive doesn't have an MCV. He's got a war factory there. And I was forced to sell that refinery because I didn't know if Rex had a mothership planned. We don't have much anti-air, so if a mothership came down there, that would have been pretty disastrous for me and for Driive. Driive beacons that location just to say that the Prodigy was killed. There's a heroic militant squad. And this was an absolutely insane game. Phoenix and Rex almost taking this game. It was clutch till the very end. Probably the best game of the series. I also enjoyed the first game, and the tactics in the second and third were also interesting. It did revive some interest of mine to play 2v2 more, but they are intense, very tense. It's hard to retain a consistent level when playing in these matches. I could play the next 2v2 series and play garbage compared to what I was playing like here, but that was a really good show match to also showcase some good 2v2 gameplay in my opinion. And despite Phoenix and Rex losing that series 4-0, I thought they did okay. I thought though that we did better, and I'm really happy to have played with Driive on this occasion. So I want to thank you very much for watching this series. Hope you all enjoyed it if you stuck around to the very end, and I will catch you guys later. So I have nothing much more to say, so I'll see you all later guys. Peace out.